emails. The Democrats said the Russians did it. Russians all of a sudden start approaching the Trump team, folks. Veselnitskaya. All of a sudden, Papadopoulos is in a bar and information starts getting back to the Americans through other intelligence contacts. People start approaching the Trump team. Comey acknowledges in a congressional hearing there is already a counterintelligence operation going on against a presidential candidate. Bingo. And he bails on it. He leaves the question and he doesn't notify Congress. And he admits it and he's stunned at the question. Now, I was on Fox and Friends this week and I said he panicked. Panicked is probably not right, the term. You can see in his face, though, he's shocked by the question, Joe, because I think he knows right away now he's caught. Look at his face. He says things that are factually incorrect. Now, you may say, what did he say is factually incorrect? Joe, there are 3 people you're supposed to notify. He says it. The DNI, the White House, and Congress.
Right.
Who is the only person of those 3 he notified? The White House. He waited 8 months to notify Congress on what was supposed to be, according to his words, Joe, not mine, a quarterly briefing. Now, Joe, a year is 12 months, right?
Yes, it is, Dan.
So is a quarter of a year 8 months?
No, it's not, Dan.
That was not a trick question. Yes, you're right, Joe. It is not 8 months. He waited 8 months. They asked him why he didn't notify the DNI. He said there wasn't one. Not true. Jim Clapper was the DNI at the time in 2016. That is not true, what he said. He also says something, which maybe it's just me as a federal investigator. I caught it that I don't know if anyone else is catching. He makes a point, Joe, during that to say this notification process to Congress about what, Joe, is only the most consequential counterintelligence investigation against the Trump team in modern American history. He says, oh, by the way, the notification is kind of practice, but it's not a rule. Why would he say that? Joe, you think Congress knows what the practice is? They've only been getting briefed quarterly, right? Forever. You think they understand the practice?
I would think so.
I would think so, too.
Yeah.
Why is Comey throwing out there that, oh, by the way, this isn't the law? This is just a rule. Why do you think he may do something like that when he realizes he's busted that he didn't notify Congress about the largest counterintelligence investigation in American history? Joe, let me throw this out there to you as the audience on Buzzman.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that he sees himself in legal jeopardy, boom.
CYA.
CYA, cover your
Right.
You're damn right. Congress is quite familiar with what the practice is. Comey understands right now he's in a corner. Ladies and gentlemen, please explain to me again why the largest counterintelligence I keep saying the largest, the most consequential, most significant counterintelligence investigation in modern American history into the Donald Trump team is going on within the FBI, conveniently right after the Russian hack, when Russians start approaching the Trump team. And Jim Comey, the director of the FBI, Joe, just forgets to notify Congress? Reminds me of that scene in A Few Good Men where they talk about the guy packing to leave. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and he just forgets. He forgot. You didn't. Now, I have to play the second half of this cut. Now, this is critical. In the second half, he tries to explain why they didn't notify Congress, and it's not because he forgot. I'm throwing that out there because nothing makes sense here. He explains why. Play the cut, and then I'll explain to you why this is significant afterwards.
So just to drill down on this, if the open investigation began in July and the briefing of congressional leadership only occurred recently, why was there no notification prior to the past month?
I think our decision was it was a matter of such sensitivity that we wouldn't include it in the quarterly briefings.
So when you state our decision, is that your decision? Is that usually your decision what gets briefed in those quarterly updates?
No, it's usually the decision of the head of our counterintelligence division.
And just, again, to get the detailed on the record, why was the decision made not to brief senior congressional leadership until recently, when the investigation had been open since July, a very serious investigation? Why was that decision made to wait months?
Because of the sensitivity of the matter?
Wait, what? Come again? Joe, you understand that the entire purpose for congressional oversight over counterintelligence investigations is precisely because of the sensitivity of the matters.
10-4.
By the way, Joe, don't you remember Jim Comey saying that he objected to the classification of the Clinton email investigation as a matter? Don't you remember the line, we're not the Federal Bureau of Matters, we're the Federal Bureau of Investigation? All of a sudden, Jim Comey's calling it a matter. I thought you didn't like the word matter. Jim, what happened?
Wow.
The matter? We didn't notify Congress because it was sensitive? That's the whole purpose of congressional oversight. What do you think, we're stupid? Also, by the way, he doesn't mention the name, which is awfully convenient, of the counterintelligence head of the FBI, who he says in that clip told him not to say anything. That person's name is Bill Priestep. Now, I don't know Bill Priestep, but I know his wife's a mega donor to Clinton. Well, I shouldn't say a mega donor, but a pretty big donor to Hillary Clinton. Now, folks, I have an article in the show notes today. I kept the show notes brief at Bongino.com, and please subscribe to my email list. I will email you these notes every day. I have an article from a website. I don't know these guys. I've never met them. I just got a call this weekend that leads me to believe that something very suspicious is going on. I can tell you from their information that they link to everything. The article in the show notes lays out this timeline I'm about to tell you. It's the first article in the show notes today. It's long. It's about a 2,000-word piece. If you don't read this piece, you are doing yourself a disservice to this country. Because when you read this piece, you will be absolutely blown away. And everything I'm telling you, well, not everything. I've added some stuff I've gotten from other people. But most of what I'm telling you here, the core of it, is laid out in an elegant timeline in this piece that will absolutely blow your mind. It's the first article. There's also sublinks in the article where you can follow everything they're saying. All right, I'm going to get back into this in a second. I have to do a read here, but I want to just set up where we were and where we're going, because I guess one person was confused on Friday, and I feel bad because this is only the most consequential show I've ever done. Act 1, emails. The DNC is, quote, hacked into. The media wants you to believe. They want you to believe the Russians did it. After that happens, people start approaching the Trump team, and this is where I'm going to go right after this read. People start approaching the Trump team, alleging, Joe, that they have the Russian emails or the information.
Right.
At the same time, the FBI now publicly acknowledges, starts a counterintelligence investigation into the Trump team. Joe. And doesn't notify the DNI or Congress about it. The DNI is a separate issue, but fails to notify Congress about this despite their quarterly policy to do so. Jim Comey's questioned about it in March and stutters and stammers his way through it. Ordinarily, a guy that's as cool as the other side of the pillow. Something stinks here. And I'm telling you, what stinks is this was a setup of the Trump team the whole time. All right, I'm going to get back into this in a second. Today's show brought to you by our buddies at WaxRx. Listen, thank you so much. You guys are the best, and ladies, I mean it. We bring on a new sponsor. You guys go and support their stuff, and they love it. I really can't thank you enough, folks. You're so great and wonderful to this show. It really means the world to me. Hey, when your ears aren't clean, they get really uncomfortable, right? I know. Me and Joe deal with this for a living. I'm looking at Joe now. Now we have this video set up, and we both got our cans on. It's the worst. Cans, meaning the headphones. That's what Joe calls them. Ears itch. They get painful. They get plugged up. They can make it hard to hear. A lot of people use cotton swabs, candling, or drugstore remedies to clean their ears, but they really don't do the job. This can be dangerous. It even says it on the back of the cotton swabs. Don't put this in your inner ear. Now you can get a real solution for stubborn earwax. The Wax RX ear wash system is doctor developed and works safely when other products fail. It's a great system, folks. This is the best. I had a lot of problems with my ears in the Secret Service. I love this thing. The Wax RX system is the method physicians trust the most. And it's just like the system they use in their offices. WaxRx comes with everything you need to safely clean out earwax and condition your ears conveniently at home. for less than the cost of a doctor's visit. Plus, you don't have to go to the doctor's office. The doctor-developed WaxRx system uses special wax softening drops to break down earwax inside the ear. It has a specially engineered pump fitted with a unique tip to gently deliver the perfect amount of cleansing pressure to flush the wax away. It's really cool. Finally, the pH-conditioned formula rinses and soothes the ears, making for the ultimate, most complete earwax removal system available. Visit GoWaxRx.com to order your reusable earwash system today. Promo code here, folks, for free shipping. You always like promo codes. Dan, D-A-N, my first name. Visit GoWaxRx.com. That's GoWaxRx.com. This is a great system. Joe loves it. I love it. Helps with those ears, especially for if I'm not hearing, I ain't working. So this is a great system. Go check it out. Okay. Getting back to this. Now, we're still in Act 2, the setup. First was the emails, Act 1, Act 2, the setup. All of a sudden, people start approaching the Trump team. Remember, the investigation starts right around June, July of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What happens, Joe, in June of 2016? A Russian lawyer, through a conduit, winds up getting a hold of a friend of Don Trump Jr., a publicist, and says to the friend, hey, we have information about Hillary that could be damaging. We need a meeting with Don Trump Jr. Wow. Why would that happen? Who shows up for the meeting, Joe? A woman with the last name of Veselnitskaya. She's a Russian lawyer who's connected, by the way, to Putin through the company she works for that's run by a friend of Putin's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who does this Russian lawyer meet with before she shows up to the meeting with Don Trump? Keep in mind, Act 2, the setup. Don't forget where we're going with this.
Okay.
She meets with Fusion GPS. Both before, by the way, and after.
All right.
She meets with, she's there with Simpson from Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson. Who's Fusion GPS? Fusion GPS is the company that was paid by the DNC and Hillary to go get this fake Russian intel that I'm telling you was later used to get a FISA warrant, or at a minimum some components of it, because the press has already, CNN's already reported this, by the way, to then formally spy on the Trump team in October of this year. Remember, it's June. The FISA warrant's not even filed till October. They tried to get one in June. They were denied. Now, think about what I'm telling you. In June, right as this meeting with Don Trump Jr. is happening, with this Russian lawyer who met with Fusion GPS, who was paid by Hillary and the DNC to put together fake Russian intel on Trump. Right around this time, the FBI, DOJ and the CI community here, is applying for a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant through the FISC, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, to spy on the Trump team. Huh? Wait, what? They're denied. The court says no. You think the investigation stops? No, they come back in October. Now, keep in mind here, you may say, so this Russian lawyer meets with Fusion GPS, cronies for the Hillary campaign and the Russian government, before and after the meeting. She meets with Don Trump Jr., goes in there, she winds up, now keep in mind, Joe, she doesn't give Don Trump Jr. anything.
Right.
On Russian emails. Matter of fact, Don Trump Jr. just minutes in becomes frustrated with the crap going on in this meeting. He leaves the meeting. Not only does he leave the meeting, he then publicly on social media releases, in an unbelievable act of transparency, all of the emails surrounding the meeting. By the way, where are those 33,000 emails, Hillary? Oh, we don't have them. Okay, but that's another topic altogether. Don't you worry. Because remember, they're still insisting Russian collusion happened. And remember the global, I gave you Act 1, I gave you Act 2. Remember the whole storyline here is this is all a diversion to distract away from corruption at the FBI and the Obama administration in the form of spying on a presidential candidate, the biggest scandal in American history. This is the spying. So they go in, Joe, making this story even odder. They meet at Trump Tower. The woman is not an American.